Hello class 12th. Today we will discuss the shape of the revenue curves under monopolistic competition. But before that we need to understand the features. Now, what is a monopolistic competition? The other name for monopolistic competition is imperfect competition. Now the definition of this competition says that this competition refers to a market situation in which there are large number of firms, that means sellers, which sell closely related but differentiated products. Now you must pay attention here that in this type of market form, there are large number of buyers and sellers both, but the firms here are selling closely related product. They are not selling homogeneous product as was the case in perfect competition. They are selling closely related or close substitute of the products, but these goods are differentiated on the basis of certain characteristics such as the size, color, shape, the brand. So these goods are closely related but differentiated. Examples of the goods in monopolistic market are soap, toothpaste. You have different brands of soap. You have Lux, you have Dove, you have Lifebuoy. So these goods are closely related. They do the same work, but they are differentiated from each other in some or the other manner. Maybe some have a pleasant smell, the others do not have. Some has got a perfect texture. So this is how the goods are closely related, but they are differentiated. So they are also called as the close substitutes. So in a monopolistic competition, close substitutes of the goods are sold. Now we will discuss the features of this type of competition one by one. The first feature says that it has large number of sellers. Now because the numbers selling the closely related goods or the close substitutes is large, but each firm acts independently because the goods are not homogeneous. एक जैसे goods नहीं है, so these firms can act independently and they can have their own pricing policy. So these firms, they have some influence over the prices of the commodities in the market as compared to the perfect competition. So these firms can set the prices of the commodity. Large number of firms present in this type of market, it leads to competition. Now how will they overcome the competition? Now one method of overcoming the competition is that you reduce the price. Otherwise, the other method is that you advertise your brand and promote your brand in such a manner that people are influenced by your brand and they perceive your brand superior to the others. So for that, the goods are advertised by the sellers, which is called as the selling cost. Okay, so this is first feature, large number of sellers. The second feature is product differentiation. The product of a firm is close but not perfect substitute of other firms. Like I told you, if you take the example of soap, the shape, size, color, smell, all these things, they vary from soap to soap. If you take example of soap, this is only one example that I have taken. Then you have you take the example of toothpaste. You have different toothpaste, Pepsodent, Colgate, Babool. Now see, all these toothpaste, they perform the same function, but you will prefer Pepsodent over Babool. Why? Because that is the brand image which is created in your mind due to the advertisement of the product and the way they promote it. So that's called as product differentiation. The products are close substitutes of each other. And selling cost, I told you all that it is the expense which is incurred by the firms on marketing, sales, promotion and advertisement of the product. So there exists selling cost in case of an imperfect or monopolistic competition. But if you remember, in perfect competition, we do not have any selling cost. Right? Then next feature is that there is freedom of entry and exit of the firms. Under this type of competition, firms are free to enter the industry at any time, and they are also free to leave the industry at any time. There is no restriction on the entry and exit of the firm, because if there are more number of firms, the profit of the firms is reduced because the prices will fall. Supply will exceed, the supply will be more because the number of firms are more, so the prices drop down, and therefore the profit margins of these firms is lesser. But if the firms leave from this market, then the supply of the commodity reduces, which pushes up the price. And then these firms are able to get a higher profit, the firms that are left in the market. That means that the buyers and sellers do not have perfect knowledge about the market condition. Selling cost mean advertisements and the sales promotion techniques, they create artificial superiority about the product in the minds of the consumers. The consumers get confused that which product is better and which is not. So they are not able to evaluate the different products which are available in the market and which have the same use. So as a result, a particular product is preferred by the consumers over the other products, even if their price is lesser and they are of the same quality. So this is the effect of lack of perfect knowledge, that there is an artificial superiority which is created in favor of a particular product, because the sellers are able to spend more money on the advertisement and sales promotion of the product. There's a saying, na, jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. So when they see the product, they are influenced by the advertisement and they buy those products. Then next feature is pricing decision. Now, under imperfect competition or monopolistic competition, the firm is neither a price taker nor is it a price maker. But because they prepare a unique product, their product is different in their own way, they are able to have a little control over the price. So, and the extent of price definitely depends that how strongly the consumers are connected or attached to the brand of the seller. By say if a particular brand is very, very popular among the customers, they can increase the price and they can still continue with the same sales. But if the consumers they don't prefer a particular product, so if the prices would rise, the demand for those commodities would fall. So it depends upon the consumers also. So they are not, they don't have totally independent pricing policy. Then there is non-price competition. Now, along with the price competition, there is non-price competition also. Now, non-price competition refers that the firms will increase their sales and they will compete with the other sales by giving offers, carrying out fairs, or making favorable credit terms. So these are called as non-price competitions. So these are the features of monopolistic competition. In a monopolistic competition, if the sellers want to sell additional units, they need to reduce the price. Say for instance, you need one Pepsodent or one toothpaste in a month, right? And 100 gram tube say comes for 100 rupees. So you will buy that minimum quantity. But if the firms, they want to increase their sales, they will have to induce you to buy. So how can they induce you? They will say give you an offer, buy one get one free, or they will give you 10%, 20% discount. They will reduce the price. So in order to increase the sales of the commodity, the sellers are required to reduce the price of the commodity. So now with this, we proceed towards the shapes of the revenue curves. Average revenue, marginal revenue, and the total revenue curves. Now you can see here this table shows that if the sellers have to increase their sales, they have to reduce the price. So if they have to sell 1 unit, they can sell it at 10 rupees. If they want to increase the sales to 2 units, they will have to sell it at 9. 3, they will have to make it 8. 4 units, then 7 rupees. 5 units, 6 rupees. 6 units, 5 rupees, and so on. Now, if you calculate the revenues from this value which is given here of the quantity and the price, you can get the TR. TR is Q into P, that is quantity into price. So in case of 1 unit, what is the TR? It is 10. In case of 2 units, your TR is 18, because 2 into 9 is 18. In case of 3 units, 24, then it is 28, 30, 30 and 28. So this is the behavior of total revenue curve. The total revenue curve is increasing, then it becomes constant at 30, then it starts declining. You can see it here, this is the behavior of TR curve. So here TR is first increasing, then becoming constant, reaching maximum, and then it starts to fall. So this is the behavior of total revenue curve. Now let us see average revenue. Now in average revenue curve, average revenue is total revenue divided by the quantity. Now for the first unit it is 10 rupees, then it becomes 9. So here you can see that AR is equal to the price of the commodity, and we have already done that if a question is asked that which revenue concept is also called as price, so your answer is average revenue. So you can see that average revenue is coming equal to the price. Now let us take the marginal revenue. Now for the first unit, the marginal revenue is 10. Second unit, 18 minus 10 will give you 8 marginal revenue. Now you see the behavior of marginal revenue. Marginal revenue is continuously falling, right? 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0 and minus 2. Now you see the relationship between AR and MR. Now AR and MR both are falling, but you can see that AR is always more than the marginal revenue. When AR is 10, MR is 10, both will start from the same point, right? You can see here from the diagram also, you can see that both the AR and the MR curves, they are starting from the same point. Now look down. Second, the AR is 9 but the MR is 8, lesser. MR is less than AR. Then again AR is 8, MR is 6, then 7, it is 4. AR is 6, MR is 2, then 5, 0, 4, minus 2. So you can see that AR is always above the MR curve. So here we can see the graph. The graph shows that AR and MR both are falling, both are negatively sloping curves, but MR is always less than the AR. And AR will always remain positive. We know that average revenue will always remain positive. The reason being, TR is a positive value, and the positive value will never have, average will never be 0 or negative. So AR always will be positive. But marginal revenue can of course fall. So it falls and it becomes 0 and then it becomes negative. So which is shown here in the revenue curve. Now you may be asked to differentiate between the market forms on the basis of revenue curve, and especially the difference between the perfect competition and imperfect competition is asked, that differentiate between these two market forms on the basis of revenue curves or average or marginal revenue curves. So in this case, you will have to draw a line parallel to x-axis in case of perfect competition for AR/MR, and in case of imperfect competition, you will have to draw this diagram and explain that why is the AR/MR curve parallel to x-axis in case of perfect competition and why is it sloping down in case of imperfect competition. This is how you would write the answer. So this was the relationship between AR and MR. Now let us see the relationship between MR and TR. Now we can see that from this table that your TR is rising continuously, right? Till when? you can see here that till the time MR is positive, till 2, TR becomes 30. When MR is 0, TR is 30 and maximum. After this, when MR becomes negative, your TR starts falling. So the same thing is represented here on the diagram. Now you can see that your MR is falling and TR is rising. When MR is negative, TR is maximum, and when MR is negative, your TR starts falling. So this is the relationship between MR and TR, the marginal revenue and the total revenue. So you have to study so much in this chapter. I hope this is clear to you. Please go through your book and read it, and if there's anything you don't understand, do revert. Till then, stay safe and take care. Thank you.